is going on, everyone? My name is Jared Haas, and welcome to the Best Seat of the Track. As you can tell, throwback weekend is in effect at Darlington Raceway, and we have our Frontstretch reporters there at the track. Joining me for Best Seat of the Track is none other than Dalton Hopkins. Dalton, I gotta notice you're wearing the Dale Earnhardt hat, and I gotta know the story behind how you got that hat, because both of us, we were in diapers basically when Dale Earnhardt was racing. So I gotta know how you got that hat.
Yeah, I wasn't even born when this hat was made. So this hat is from 1996. My mom actually used to work in a credential office. And believe it or not, she got to meet Dale Earnhardt on a regular basis when he came down to Daytona. So one day, he actually had some hats to give away. He gave one to her. So fast forward to now, when I found out that I was going to Darlington Throwback Weekend, I dug into my box to find any old racing hats that I had. And I saw this one, and I was like, oh, this has got to be it. I got to go with the Intimidator for this weekend.
Well, that's a pretty interesting story, to say at least, too. I've had this tight hat for a little while, too. But I want to talk about the racing action that we had, and especially last weekend at Dover. We saw quite a few tire failures that we saw. I think Tiny Dillon was one of them, too. And I actually think tire wear is a good problem that we have in the sport. The biggest thing is, like I said, when you have fresh tires that don't wear down, driver's going to run 400, 500 qualifying laps. And you don't have the strategy of, people conserving their tires, people trying to run out their tires so they can hold the lead. I think they had the right direction with especially Dover, good racing, good tire wear off, good strategy, and he wasn't as predictable as it was at, let's say, Martinsville, for example. I want to see your thoughts on this with tire wear. Do you think the tires should be wearing out like what was happening at Dover, or do you think the sturdy tire is good? The one big downfall with tire wear, though, is obviously drivers are going to be pushing the edge. They're going to have problems with their day. Sometimes they get in the wall. Where do you stand on this tire wear debate?
Well, I think tire wear I'm on your side. The tire wear is a great issue to have. Part of racing is knowing how to manage your stuff. Our driver's challenge is to know how to manage his equipment, and that includes the tires. We've seen in the past what very little tire wear means, what very little tire wear can do to a race. Cough, Martinsville, cough. And I'll quote Davey Segal here in saying that was the worst Martinsville race ever. And frankly, I can't really argue against it. We need that good tire wear because that also makes strategy very interesting. We have this stage racing format now where it kind of takes out a lot of the fuel mileage. So having the fuel mileage race not really be much of a thing anymore, tires are now much more relevant. So when you come here to Darlington, we see races like what we saw in the past few years where that final stage almost looks like a Formula One race. We have some drivers want to take two tires, but some drivers only want to do one, some drivers take two stops, but some only want to do one stop for the track position. And then we get cases like Richmond where Denny Hamlin pits with like a little bit like 40 laps to go, gets lapped, and then comes all the way back, unlaps himself, and then unlaps himself again to take the lead and wins the race in the last 10 laps. I don't know about you, but that's interesting to me. I would much rather have that be a bigger issue than just saying, oh, well, this guy stayed out and it looks like he's going to win because of it. So that's much more interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely. I just say the point is, let racing be natural. The more natural it is, the more, you're not disappointed with the entertainment aspect of it, too. Like I said, I know that you have to have that fine balance of naturally playing out, but having some entertainment with it, too. And I think having tires that wear is a critical part of this. Dalton, I want to play a clip for you that we had. Michael Massie with us with Frontstretch was able to get to with some interesting news that Alex Bowman has. I'll let you play the clip with some interesting news. So go ahead here.
Alex, you saw that announcement where your three teammates getting races in the 88 Xfinity car. Did you feel left out at all?
No, not at all. I have some other plans, and I'm excited to share those in the future. I think it'll be pretty cool, but I've got to race a lot of different stuff this year, and looking forward to what we have going on the rest of the year.
Well, it's pretty interesting to hear about that he said he's had something in the works. We know JR Motorsports announced that 3 of the 4 Hendrick drivers were scheduled to run the 5th JR Motorsports car with Chase Elliott. He was there at Darlington, failed to qualify. you had Kyle Larson, and you had William Byron. The two speculations that Alex Bowman has on the table is obviously JRM adding more races with Alex Bowman, or possibly going back Truck Series with Spire Motorsports. What do you think is the more, like I said, reasonable, like I said, speculation that he's going to be running? I think it's going to be with Spire Motorsports. What are your thoughts on that?
¿Por qué no las dos? Why not both? I think we've seen that the Hendrick Motorsports stable has obviously been much more susceptible to going into the lower series because of that whole new Kyle Larson mentality. It's been great to watch, too. But I think you also have to look at the actual paint scheme of that number 88 car. Notice that it's sponsored by Hendrick Motorsports, meaning that sponsor matters. That sponsor is the reason why they are there, why they are doing this. I mean, obviously, it's a company owned by Rick Hendrick himself. But Alex Bowman has really good standing with another company like Ally and Valvoline. So just because he hasn't been announced yet doesn't mean he's not going to run it later. And I think that's probably much more possible. I found it pretty funny when they first announced it, and then I kind of thought, first announced that it was going to be those three drivers, and I kind of thought, well, where's Alex? I thought he's. I mean, it's kind of mean. Like that's kind of rude that we didn't invite the fourth Hendrick driver. But he also seems like he's all smiles about it. He knows that he's going to have some more opportunity here. And I think it's probably going to be something like that. I think we're going to see something a little bit more down the line. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a Spire Motorsports truck, but I think he's also probably going to be in those JRM car by the end of the year.
I mean, at least you didn't take something out of left field. I thought you were going to say something like, yeah, he's going to be driving for David Gilman Racing. But
well, hey, we've seen some pretty wild starts. Cole Custer with the Joe Graf Jr. car. That's not something we don't expect. So who knows?
That is very true, too. So we'll wait and see with the coming months what he's going to be announcing, too. But like I said, we know he's going to be running the lower series. We just don't know what races and what series he's going to be running to. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled on that. And now it's my time of the week, favorite time of the week. It's our picks of the week. And I want to show the standings from last weekend. We had Tom Bowles on the show. He picked Kyle Larson, finished sixth. And I went with Chase Elliott picking second after Tom, and Chase Elliott won the race. So I got a 5-point lead, and it's now back to you. Who are you picking to win and throwing it back in victory lane at Darlington?
I think, I went into this weekend, and I really try to stick to my guns. I know he qualified okay. He wasn't exactly the best in the Xfinity Series race either, but I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick, because Tyler Reddick is one of those drivers that just really loves to run the high side, and we've seen those type of drivers do so well here at Darlington. My gut tells me Tyler Reddick. My brain says Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, but my heart is going to go with Tyler Reddick. That might not be the smartest choice, but it's the one I'm going to make.
Hey, like I said, those two drivers have been running well in 2022. And we'll wait and see. I'll have to tell you this, too. We ran our poll on YouTube with 360 votes. And I'm going with the person that actually got first place with 33% of the vote. And there was an option to comment everyone else in the field. I'm actually going to be picking with Kyle Larson. Pretty much has dominated here at Darlington, has led a lot of laps. You look at last September, he was with the battle with Denny Hamlin. And last year, of the spring race, he didn't lead any laps, but he still finished second. You pick Kyle Larson on the table, especially here, shorter type of race, 400 miles here. You obviously got to stick with him, too. So I'm going to go on the table, not going to go on the wild side, pick Larson still. Still been pretty dominant here and starting second. So we'll wait and see. Dalton, it was great to have you on here. And from everyone here on Frontstretch.com, make sure to like this video, subscribe. It really helps us bring this content from the track, and have a great race weekend.